What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm in Farming Simulator 15. So, if you remember the last episode, I was having all kinds of lag problems, right? I couldn't tab between vehicles, everything was stuttery and laggy and just completely crappy, right? Well, you know BP, right? You know how I am. I am very persistent. I don't like to give up, especially on something like Old Ridge, where I have spent 400 plus hours on this map, 113 episodes. And it was annoying me to no end that I could not figure it out. You know, you go in the log. Now, I have said this over and over and over again. I am not a modder. I am at best an editor. I will take somebody else's work and I will edit it to suit my purposes, or to suit, in this case, the story, to make it a little bit more me, I guess. Well, when I went through the log, I found errors in there that there was a bunch of errors. And this is a good tip for you guys who may be new to Farm Sim, maybe new to modded Farm Sim or whatever. Always look at your log. Your log is located in your Farm Sim folder in your documents, wherever that may be on your computer. If you scroll down towards the bottom there, you'll see a little text file. It'll say log. Double click on it, open in WordPad or Notepad++ or regular Notepad or whatever. And take a look at it. The first bit is usually just going to be your computer, your render settings and all that sort of stuff. And then underneath that, it's going to start showing you stuff, that it's loading or trying to load. And then under that, it's going to show you some errors. Well, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does. Well, I had errors in there that were my own fault. When I started to add triggers and things and sell points and stuff to the map, for me, the easiest way to get a trigger is to copy it, move it somewhere, plant it down, be done with it, right? Well, what I was forgetting to do was I would copy a sell point from one place, drag it over to the place I wanted to put it, paste it down, but it was still part of the transform group from the original location. So it was the same trigger to the game in two different locations, and the game doesn't like that. So there was a lot of errors in there like that I had to fix. I had a ton of mod errors, as you would expect, right? You download mods, you're like, oh, I like that, that's cool. You put it in the game, you're like, well, it functions, it physically works, so you kind of forget about it. Then when everything starts to go wrong, when all the errors start to add up and the game starts to chug because it's constantly trying to load stuff, constantly trying to fix stuff that it can't fix, so it's just using up all its resources instead of running the game trying to fix these errors, then you notice something's wrong. So I got rid of a bunch of stuff out of the mod folder. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, it only affected really one piece of equipment that I use on the farm, and that's the potato harvester. The Ropakeeler potato harvester, which I'm pretty sure was a convert from a previous version of Farm Sim. It had quite a few errors in it. Some of them I can fix. Some of them I don't know. I'm not a modder guy, so I don't know everything about what's what, I just know that I couldn't have lag. I mean, if you look at it now, the sun's coming up, right? It's 5:38 in the morning here in Old Ridge. We get that beautiful sunrise. I don't have a bit of stutter. This map is running exactly, except for my mouse being crappy, this map is running exactly the way it should be running. I have one error in my log, and that is a soil mod error. And the only way to fix it, from what I understand, is if I went back into the map and reinstalled redid the bits of XML that you have to change to put soil mod on a map. What would that do? Well, it would get rid of the error, it would corrupt this save game, and I would have to start all over again. Nope, not going to do it. I refuse. I will live with that error. It doesn't affect the game so much. It makes the game take a little longer to load, but it doesn't break, anything. I don't have any lag. Everything works. Soil mod is still working. If I bring up my soil mod HUD, you can see it's still working. So I'm okay with that. It was all the other stuff. 50% was my fault. 50% was just crap mods. It's all gone now. Everything seems to be fixed. I dumped a bunch of stuff out of my mod folder that I wasn't using. So there you go. Old Ridge, is alive. It's safe. It works. It's good. One thing you'll notice is that I picked up a new trailer. This is the Scale Marshall. This has been around forever. I needed another trailer to put manure in, since the other Marshall, the one that I really liked, kind of flipped out on me and would end up all over the farm whenever I got out of the game and came back. So I know this one works. I'm going to use this for manure. It may be overkill for manure. It's a very nice trailer, but I'm going to use it anyway. The reason we're hooked up to that, the reason we've got the case hooked up to that, and the JCB is we've got to go muck out the pig and the beef. Lots and lots of muck. to get rid of in those. So I've learned my lesson, and I'm going to have Phil follow me in the case, and I'm going to drive the JCB because I learned my lesson about trying to put the JCB on follow me. It doesn't like it. So we're going to run down to the Pig and Beef. We're going to muck those guys out, bring the muck back. Probably should get Perry mowing on something, I think. There is a little bit of lag right here, and that's because of the textures. And there's a tree right there that I had to cut down because I got this stuck in it, and I couldn't get it out. You guys are probably aware of the dynamic attach issue that's been in Farm Sim forever. Whenever you attach a bucket, one of the in-game buckets to anything else, whatever you're attaching it to tends to flip out. So what happened was it flipped the JCB flipped up in the air and landed in the tree, and I couldn't get it out. And so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm cutting the tree down. So now the tree is touching all those tires and everything, and that causes a little bit of lag. So that's what that was. But it's not anything in the mod folder anymore. It's not any errors, So, and it's funny because when I was making when I was doing the map edits, making new cell points and everything. Now I got to make sure I give Phil enough room to swing around this thing. I shouldn't come in this way with him, but I'm gonna, and hopefully he makes it. Yep. Oh, come on, come on! No, Phil. Oh, Phil, come on. This is when I get the text message. Hey, I'm stuck. I know. Are you gonna figure it out? No. Nope. Totally my own fault. Control F. Let's get him out of here. Hopefully. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, when I was making the edits, I wasn't really thinking about the fact that it's just a trigger, right? And that was kind of my thought process at the time. Oh, it's just a trigger. How hard can it be? I've done it 1,000 times before, right? Now I will be honest. I didn't watch a lot of tutorials on how to edit and make maps and things. I would go and hunt down bits and pieces of stuff that I was interested in. Like if I wanted to import an object and I didn't know how, I would go watch a video on how to import an object. If I wanted to learn how to add a new cell point to something, I would go watch a video on that. So I didn't have a full understanding of how Giants Editor works, like most people who create maps do. Most people will say, okay, well, I don't know how to do this, so I'm going to go watch a video or I'm going to read something, I'm going to go look up stuff online until I figure it out, and then I'm going to go do it. Well, that's not how BP works. BP is like, okay, well, I only want to know how to do this, so I'm going to learn how to do this, and then I'm going to go do it, not realizing that that has consequences on other things in the map as well. So the bottom line is that I was grabbing these triggers, I was copying them because they were the triggers that I needed, and then I could just edit the fruit types for whatever I wanted. I'll give you an example, British Sugar, the big dump point that I made for British Sugar down there. That was one where I had grabbed I was just looking for a trigger that had sugar beets in it, happened to be the OEB trigger. I grabbed it, I dragged it over to the British Sugar Company, I dropped it, and I was done, right? Not realizing that it also had, wheat and maize and barley and OSR, potatoes in it. Oh, I didn't want all that. So instead of cutting it out of the transform group that it was originally part of, I just copied it, pasted it, deleted the stuff that I didn't want in it, and went on my way. Well, the game didn't like that, and it took a while for the errors to start kicking in, but once they did, we had the problem we had the other day. So, again, using, I'm not, you can stay right there, actually. I am not, I'm not dumb, you know what I mean? But I'm so unfocused, and I'm so, I don't know, I hate to call myself lazy, but I think I'm a little bit lazy in the fact that, I'm like, oh, I just want to do this and be done with it, right? Because I need I need a dump point for sugar beets. I need a place to sell soybean seeds and, stuff like that. So, and I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, and it caught up with me, so it was my own fault. All right. Anyway, let's get some muck. As soon as this bucket decides it wants to do, there we go, in the trigger, right? We're in the trigger? Yep, we're in the trigger. Oh, come on, bucket. That's mostly my own fault that stuff like that happens, me just, again, being impatient, trying to drive the bucket into the concrete. So. But yeah, it's funny. and I say this over and over and over and over and over again, about going through your mod folder, about, looking at mods that may be sketchy, or looking at mods that you're not going to use, Farm Sim is happiest with the least amount of mods in it possible, right? And we all have these, epic mod folders because, if you're into the modded game, then, you're always looking for mods, you're always hunting mods, you're always looking at stuff going, oh, that's cool, right? And I was so proud of myself, right? Rightly or wrongly, that I would go to Mod Hoster, and I would only download mods that had a video. You know what I mean? Or mods that had, more than, say, 3 stars. Or mods that had, positive comments once I translated them into English and I could actually understand them, right? Because, I was like, oh, I'm not messing with junk mods. Because, Farming Simulator 13, I spent hours and hours and hours and hours, going through mods that were just complete junk, So I said, well, Farm Sim 15, I'm not doing that, right? Well, I fell into the same trap again. Because sometimes, especially with this series, where I'm looking for a very specific mod to do a very specific thing that I need it to do for the story. And not everybody makes these mods. And sometimes the mods that I want to use are not the highest quality things in the world, right? So I just shine them, and I'm like, oh, well, okay, it's fine, whatever, And I kind of gloss over the fact that they're just kicking out 1,000 errors in my log, which eventually will make the game say, all right, you're going to keep ignoring me, guess what? I'm just going to break. And I'll be honest, I was freaking out. I, again, spent all day yesterday trying to figure out how to get this to work again, you know what I mean? And it was working. That wasn't the problem. It wasn't like it completely stopped working, where I couldn't load it at all. It just was so laggy that it was, I couldn't play it. I feel bad that I put that video out, but I didn't want to waste an old Rage video, you know what I mean? It was laggy and not great, but at least it was playable and I hope watchable, and everybody was decent about it, and thanks everybody for the feedback. I really appreciate it, and I understand. And I've always said that I'm all done apologizing for, stutteriness and stuff that's out of my control, but that was fully in my control, and I needed to fix it, and I'm very glad I did. So, all right, let's take a look and see how these guys are doing. I think that one's empty now, I believe. Yep. Beef 1, empty. Very good. So we'll go over to Beef 2, and we'll start emptying that one out. Now, do I want to move this thing? I probably should move him, huh? Just for the sake of, not having to drive quite so far. I'll just move it myself. Move over, Phil. Coming in. Yeah, it is kind of a waste to use this this Marshall, but, again, Chad saved my butt. I called him up and said, hey, I need a tipper to haul manure in, and he's like, oh, I don't, and I was really looking for something just kind of old and beat up and rusty and, just enough that I could take it down the road if I needed to, Of course, I can't turn because I'm an idiot and left the damn JCB in the way. Oh, BP, come on, man. Use your head. So, yeah, he was like, oh, I don't really have anything, man. I don't have anything, just old and sort of beat up kicking around. He says, I got this Marshall. It's not in really bad shape. It's had some cosmetic edits to it and whatnot. He says, I can let you have it for a decent price. I'm like, okay, yep, I need to have it. So, once again, Chad saved my butt. Okay. You go right here. That will do. We'll set the brake this time, though, because last time I didn't set the brake. It's so nice. And what's funny is that log, obviously I've had errors in that log for quite a while. Look at this sunrise, right? I couldn't look at that sunrise before. You guys know, for a long time, that sunrise would just lag the game up solid. Now, it's going to be cloudy today, which again causes me some lag, but now that the log is fixed, and people who know better, right? The really good farm simmers, like David Oldfield, like Carl Farrar, like, even Mike and Sean, my friends, they know. Listen, you got a log full of errors. You're paying the price for that. You know what I mean? But BP, being BP, just wanting to bang out videos and not wanting to mess with it. Well, it finally got me. And it's unfortunate that it did, but it was bound to happen. So, and kind of one of the things that I was really worried about was, I was like, if I can't make videos, what am I going to do? Now, again, nobody makes me make videos, right? I'm not a professional by any means. I don't get paid on a daily basis to make videos. You know, I'm not sponsored. I'm not any of that stuff. But I like making videos, and I enjoy sharing them with you guys. And I'm like, if I can't, you know, especially on Old Ridge, if I can't make videos, what am I going to do? And so that's when my stubbornness kicked in, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm going to work at this until I figure it out. And I swear, guys, I was on it for probably 4.5 hours before my, you know, natural sort of imbalance in my brain was like, okay, you know, it's funny. I think evolution works this way, at least in my case. I know I'm bipolar. I know that when stuff tends to go wrong, I tend to get frustrated, and I tend to get overwhelmed, and I tend to sort of, I mean, I can really lose my mind very quickly. No, don't dump it back in. You know what I mean? I can just get to the point where I'm just like, whoa, 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 you know what I mean? And anybody around me is unfortunately having to deal with that. Luckily, yesterday it was just a dog, so, you know, and he's kind of used to it. He just came over to me and licked my hand and said, all right, you're having a bad day, right? Yeah, I'm going to go lay down now. Okay. But, you know, but there's always that one part of my brain that says, all right, man, you're going to freak out and you're going to do something stupid, you know. Start deleting stuff you shouldn't delete or whatever, and, you know, so settle down and go do something else. So hence why I decided to record an American Truck Simulator, which was the day before being a massive pain in the ass because I had to, you know, update to the beta patch and update the map and take out a bunch of mods that didn't work with the new beta patch, blah, blah, blah. So I've not been having the most fantastic gaming week, but you know what? I look at it this way. Once everything sort of settled out, and once I kind of calmed down, it's got to be empty. Very good. Let's just make sure it's empty. Manure. Yep. Nope, 32. There's a... Oh, no, that just came in there from now. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't I just empty out beef wine? But they just put a little bit down in since I emptied it. You know, you got to sort of balance your frustration. Like, you know, especially in my case, I'm like, okay, well, listen, you know, you've been on this map for a very long time, made a lot of episodes, you know, did a lot of stuff to it, made it really feel like home. Not that it, I mean, it always felt like home from the minute I started playing on it, you know, which is why I'm still on it. But you got to decide, you know, you chose to use mods, you chose to do this, you know, and all this other stuff. So it's your own fault, you know what I mean? Ultimately. So fix it or shut up. And that was the conversation I had with myself, you know, in my brain, basically. So, and then, of course, I was so fuddled that, you know, you guys will have seen the ATS video by the time you see this, obviously. And I could not figure out how to turn that trailer around, right? And the people who watched that video know what I'm talking about. And I just had to call Uncle and hit the enter button and skip the parking process, because by the time I got into the place and tried to get turned around, and my brain was just like, nope, we don't know how to do this. You've had a day, just call it a day, and that's it. So, but I'm a lot better today. So, okay. First thing I need to do is turn off the brake because he won't, and there we go. I need to start using my button box. I have a button box that I've had for a very long time. In fact, I actually made it. This was a dumb idea. This was a dumb idea. He is absolutely going to get stuck coming out of here. What were you thinking going this way, BP? Those of you who may be into racing or flying or any other sim that requires a lot of controls probably know what a button box is. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a box with a bunch of buttons in it and switches. Mine was for racing. Come on, make the turn, make the turn, make the turn. Go through the hedge. Go through the hedge. You got it. You got it. Don't crash into the tree. Don't crash into the tree. All right. Good job, Phil. That's my boy Phil right there. Yeah. And I use it for racing, for things like, you know, push to talk and you know, to switch fans on and off and to brake bias and things like that, right? Well, I should start using it for Farm Sim, so I don't have to actually use the keyboard quite so much. So I can actually use, you know, I can map all these sort of functions to various things on the steering wheel and the button box. I think I may have to spend a little time doing that at some point. Okay, Shift F will turn him off for a minute, and we'll go in here and grab the slurry out of here. I mean the manure. It's kind of funny how I think the pigs actually generate more, you know, more manure than the. Are we stuck in there again? We are. Ugh. Why does that happen? I don't understand this. Where do you think you're going to go with 2 wheels off the ground, BP? Come on. Come on. You can do it. Wow, we're proper stuck this time. That usually doesn't happen. I'm not taking this bucket off because if I do, this JCB is going to end up on the roof of this. Look at the lag. Look at the lag. Any second now, it's going to be JCB in this space. I might have to take this button box off. All right, dumbness is ensuing, guys, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot I can do about it. Let's get an in-cab view of this. Yay! How fun is this, guys, huh? We're going to flip over. Apparently, I just joined the Fent tractor stunt team. How can I be this stuck? I've never been this stuck before. Wait for it. Now, wait for it again. Oh, don't flip over, don't flip over. Of course you landed on the rail. Of course you did. Just get off the rail. Get off the rail. See, that's... this is why you can never have a truly immersive, 100% in character all the time roleplay series in Farm Sim because of dumbness like that. Now, was that partially my fault? Yes, it was. But it was also partially Farm Sim's fault. So, you know, okay. Again, you know, and I say this every video, it seems like. Would a real YouTuber cut that out? Of course they would. Am I going to? Of course I'm not. I should have got a screenshot of it is what I should have got. I didn't even think to get a screenshot of it. Okay. Back to the dairy with the... I'll take this, Phil. You take a break. It's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Now, can I swing this around, or did I leave the damn JCB in the way again? I did. This thing, it's not the tractor, certainly. It's the trailer. These Marshalls have a just horrible turning circle. I think because of the length of them and where the wheels are and everything, and you can't even force it backwards enough to like be able to turn. Obviously, would you do that in real life? Of course you wouldn't. Would you do this in real life? Of course you wouldn't. Why am I doing it now? Because, to be honest, I just don't care. Okay, anyway, let's jump in the cab. It's getting cloudy. It's only 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's already very cloudy, but okay. I should probably call Perry, see where he's at, you know. Normally they come in together, but Perry had something to do this morning, apparently, so I'd like to get him mowing. I don't think it's going to rain. According to the weather forecast, I was watching the weather this morning when I got up, and or listening to the weather, I should say, when I got up, and they say no rain, so just going to be sort of cloudy and, you know, gray, but that's okay. I can live with that. It's so nice to be able to look around without having to worry about the lag. I said I was going to slurry in this episode. I did that already. I did that because I needed to test the map after I, you know, got rid of all the errors and stuff. I needed to make sure that, you know, that everything was still working. So, and one good thing about, you know, slurring is that it leaves that texture on the grass, right? Well, that's kind of graphically intensive. So I said, you know what, if it doesn't lag when I'm doing this, then it's not going to lag, and it didn't. So that's why. So the storage meadow and meadow 8, or yeah, meadow 8 we cut, right, has been slurried already, so that's all set. Oh, to get into the story for a second, try to get some story in this episode, right? Talking to Mike, and he has talked to the council, or he has talked to Justin, actually. And apparently, we can do pretty much whatever we want with these meadows, just so long as we don't plant other crops on them or build on them. And by that, I mean the council meadows, the common meadows, you know. Now, here we go. You know, you're going to learn one of these days, BP, that you're never going to make this turn. And it's even worse with this tipper. In no way are you making this turn. I may physically get the tractor up here, but I won't get the tipper up here because the drawbar. Oh, maybe. Yep, there we go. Okay. But yeah, so we have the right to, if we want to plow them up and reseed them, that we can do that. So, and Mike was telling me that he thinks his father was the last person to do a lot of the common meadows in the area. So that was a long time ago, right? Wow, it is just getting, I mean, it is foggy and lousy out, huh? Wow. I mean, I could barely see out of the windshield. That's how bad it is. Oh. Yeah, I got to move that tree. It's a combination of the tree over here, which is weird, you know, trees, right? What are you going to do? And the silage, because Wow, there was that cartoon cat right there, huh? Foliage. Uh, it's just the textures that it has to draw in, you know, and when they're on top of each other like that, farm sim, and the abacus doesn't like it. So, okay, let's go ahead and get this dumped off. Go back for another load. Am I on this? No. Any chance I can see how much is in here yet? 322, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of manure. Whew. Gonna eventually have to get rid of that at some point. I'll definitely put it on the fields next year. I mean, there's no worries about that. No worries whatsoever. Okay. So I'm thinking, to get back to the whole meadow thing, I'm thinking that after this year, because I don't want to do it this year because, or during the season I should say, I'm going to plow up all the meadows. So let me try that again, because what I just said made no sense. After this season, after I get all the grass I can get, I'm going to plow up all the meadows and reseed them all. And we'll hopefully, you know, that'll break up all the soil compaction. That'll allow the nutrients to get to the roots to get to the nutrients, and all of that. I'm almost tempted to do my meadows now. You know, Meadow 8's been cut, so I could really go down there and plow it, you know, and get it restarted. The problem is that, yes, if I put grass in, you know, I'll probably have grass by the end of the summer that I could actually cut, but it won't be great, you know what I mean? It won't have time to season in and really absorb all the nutrients that I'm going to put in the soil. So I think it would be better to let it sit for the winter, you know what I mean? Get it plowed up, get it in, get it nutrient up, get all the things it needs on it. Let it sit for the winter, you know, let it go through its dormant phase, come back in the spring and really, you know, hopefully explode up into good, solid, dense, you know, nutrient-rich grass. That's the plan anyway. So let's hope that happens. You know, it's funny, everybody was kind of commenting on the sheep, right? I hadn't, you know, obviously all I'd really been doing with the sheep was feeding them. I hadn't, you know, I didn't really want to come this way, but okay. You know, I hadn't really been selling the wool or anything. And then I go take those 8 bales of wool down, I make, what, $38,000 or whatever, which is ridiculous for wool, but, you know, you can't change that price, so. And I realized that, wow, you know, all of a sudden, maybe the sheep were a moneymaker, right? Go figure. And Stuart Bales and, you know, and Shawnee and everybody, you're absolutely right. That's BP, right? Sell something and then go, wait a minute, that makes money. But to be honest, it's one less thing that's taking my grass away from my dairy. You know, you guys know the dairy is the absolute priority on this farm for me. So, you know, and I'm okay with the sheep being gone, you know. And I know they've got a good home up there at Mike's, so, and I know he really wanted them, so it's, you know, it was a win-win for me. I made a little bit of money. He got his sheep. They're happy, you know, and so it's a good thing. All right, let's get this finished up, shall we? That's where mucking out takes so long. Doesn't need to, but it always does. All right, yes, oh, sorry. And it would help if it was started, too. I need a beep to remind me that the thing isn't started, because I can't tell you how many times I've jumped into a tractor and tried that I thought I left running and tried to drive away. Oh. Do you really need a beep for that, BP? The tractor doesn't move, right? Yeah, I know, but still. I've been using drive control long enough now that, you know, I couldn't imagine not using it. It was funny, I was in some map and I was just playing around and I hadn't put any mods in it, you know. I hadn't put drive control in it, I hadn't put anything in it, and I kept forgetting, you know, that I didn't have to start the tractors and that the brake pedal was reverse and all that. And I was really struggling, and I'm like, wow, and like, it's amazing how used to stuff you can get. All right, now, don't get this stuck again, BP. You know better. Lower it enough that it's picking it up, but not so low that it's in the damn trigger. You know? There we go. I bet that's probably all of it anyway, right? Pig 2, yep, 0. Very good. Very good. There's quite a bit of muck over here, which is great, you know. I guess not using any this spring was a good thing, because it'll really let me stockpile it for next year, and it'll be good because it'll be sitting out there, composting and getting broken down into the just super organic, rich organic stuff that it should be. These fields are going to be in for a treat come fall, especially the fields that I'm going to decide, the ones that I'm going to put winter barley in. They're going to get a real treat. So. Why aren't you using your joystick, VP? I don't know, because again, it's such a habit to just reach over with my right hand and use the mouse. All right, I think there's 2 bucket loads in here, so that's perfect. Nope, this way. Today is Thursday. You guys will see this on Friday. Hopefully, by the time you guys see this, I will have a new mouse. I've just decided to go down and buy one. I was going to order one, and I said, no, just go. They sell the Logitech, whatever it is, the good, I don't know if it's a gaming mouse so much, but it's a good mouse. And they sell it at Walmart, the Walmart near me. So I'm like, you know what, just go get it, be done with it. It's like $25 or whatever. Okay, very good. Because I've had enough. I've had this mouse for a long time, this mouse that I'm using right now. And it's, it's worn out, and it was never particularly good to begin with. It, honest to God, cost $5. So I've just had enough now, I'm trying to get this rig set up so that when I get the new PC, I have all the good stuff, you know what I mean? And I don't have to spend a bunch more money, because I'm not going to have any money to spend paying for the new PC, so. All right. I believe that should be all of it now, right? It might be a little bit left. Yeah, 184. That's fine. I can leave that in there. I'm not going to chase 184 liters, pounds, whatever, of manures. So what I guess I'll do is we will run back to the dairy, dump this off. We'll call this an episode. In the next episode, I'm sure that I will have had Perry or Phil or maybe both of them. Well, not both of them because I only have the one mower, but mowing. Get in there. And then tedding, and then we'll be baling. So, again, it's going to be a lot of that. It'll also be probably some spraying that'll need to be done on on some of these fields. So that soy is probably not too far from coming up, believe it or not. Soy grows pretty quick, and it's, and I have a delivery date on that. So probably a week. Well, I mean, it's going to be 2, 4, 6. It's going to be like 6 in-game days, so I don't know what that's going to actually amount to as far as, like, real life days. Maybe a month, I guess. But that will be the first thing that gets harvested. BP, why do you make videos? Why do you bother? Why do you bother making videos, BP? All right. Are you good now? We're going to find out. Back to the dairy we go. And don't worry, Phil, I'm not going to make you go down that path. We'll go around the long way. As long as he makes this turn, I'm happy. Shouldn't have any reason not to. Yep, perfect. Okay. The rest is gravy. Let's get in and let's go. Yes, I am so glad because, I should probably point out, too, that Norsholm, something happened in Norsholm. Whether it had something to do with what was going on with my game or whether it was not, whether it was a completely separate issue or whatever, but Norsholm is dead, and I don't think I'm going to go back to it. I don't have it in me to start all over again. I know it was only 10 episodes in or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do a reboot where I completely start over again, completely start the Let's Play again. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know, but something happened to it. The save game got corrupted. I couldn't save it. I was more worried about Old Ridge, so that was really where I put all my attention to. So hence why you're going to get, sort of extra Old Ridge episodes this time around, this week, I should say. So I may need to go talk to my doctor about upping my bipolar medicine because, man, I am so unfocused the last 2 weeks. I don't know what it is, and again, it comes and goes, right? It's like anything else. And they always say the older you get, the worse it gets, because the older you get, the less elastic your brain gets, you know what I mean? So the less it's able to adapt to things. And in my case, my brain isn't like most people's anyway. So I have a little bit of a disadvantage there to begin with, But again, as I've said over and over and over again, it makes me who I am, you know what I mean? If I wasn't the Bipolar Prophet, who would I be, right? You know? So I like me. I like being me. I like, making videos. I would like, or I should say, see, I would like to be able to finish a sentence occasionally. That would be nice, without having to physically think about each word I want to say, right? But, okay. I guess that makes me who I am, right? So, I don't want to be anybody else. Like I said, I like me. So. Occasionally you're going to get the wandery, unfocused video, in this last couple weeks, and I know they haven't been great, because I've been very unfocused. But it comes and goes, and when it goes, it's great. When it comes, I just have to deal with it. Part of my life. So, there you go. All right. You can stop right here. You can shut off. You can get the brake on. We'll turn the beacons off now. Don't need those. And where are you? You're right here. Very good. We can turn you off. Ah, it's so nice to be able to move around and stuff, huh? And scroll and, move the mouse and see stuff happen. And very, very cool. All right. We'll get this dumped off. And we'll call this an episode. And while I'm dumping it, I will say, whoops, or wasn't quite close enough. I will say thanks very much, guys. As always, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, If you have anything you want to leave me, any comments, any tips, any suggestions, any complaints, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about, leave it in the comments. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Steam, however you're most comfortable, whatever's most convenient for you. Thank you so much for coming, for watching, for subscribing, for liking, for being my friends. That's why I do this. I'm going to say it every single video because it means that much to me, guys. I misspoke in the last in the ATS video where I said we had broke the 2100 subscriber list, a 2100 subscriber milestone. It's actually 2200 subscribers. I didn't slight anybody. I wasn't trying to offend anybody, you know what I mean? I just misspoke. It's 2,200 subscribers. I cannot tell you what that means to me. That is such a massive big deal. And thank you to every single one of you. Thank you to everybody who comments on a regular basis. Thanks to everybody who messages me. Thanks to everybody who goes out of their way to help me, guys like Jasper and Mike and Sean and Martin Garner and Tony Lurie and all of you guys and Chad, Jordan Tamblin, Thomas Dean, Nick Crisford, all you guys who go out of your way to help me, to show me your support and everything, that means more to me. Kezer, Stuart Bales, I just keep coming up with names in my head. All of you guys, thank you so very much. And thank you to every single one of you who've come to the channel, who've liked the video, who've subscribed. It means everything to me. And as always, guys, thanks for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.